something's gonna blow. Flags fade on the old hotel, tourists drink their rum and go. Radio talks into accents about a brand new vote. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, stars and stripes in the Caribbean. Same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Busted barrio, kids swap caps, argue calls. One says soon we're buying hot dogs in a big new stadium wall. Street band plays old boleros, slides into something strange. A pledge in a different language, but the hope feels just the same. Caribbean, same blue waves, a different anthem, still the same red in our drum. Cuba, 51st state of the sun, side by side on that banner we run from Havana down to Key West, we rise as 51. Dust on the truck bed, mile after mile. Fields stretch out wide like they got a mind of their own. Red sign at the hall, coffee gone cold. Everybody talking with a fire in their bones. Hear that rumble now, under boots on the floor. October is coming and we want something more. October 19, we're standing up. October 19, we've had enough. Alberta singing loud, let the whole world hear. October 19th, freedom's here. Hard hats on hooks, checks run thin, hands on the ledger and the same old grin. From the shop to the rig, from the barn to the street, people keep asking, what do we believe? Hear that rumble now, under boots on the floor. October is coming and we want something more.
to the NPC show. Deprogramming the world one NPC at a time. I'm your host, Frank. Today is Tuesday, June 30th, 2026. This is the last day of June. Yeah, we're running out of time, guys, and not enough is getting done. Not enough is getting done. I got a mishmash of bad news and good news for you. It's mostly bad news, though, unfortunately. And, yeah, then we have a... I think we're doing a watch party over on the YouTube side. Yeah, on the Rumble side. I'm sorry. Give me 1 second. I'm still setting up. There we go. I think we're all set now. Yeah, mostly bad news today. Sorry. Yeah, I wish I had better news. I'm sure many of you already. I mean, you can already see in the thumbnail what the bad news is. But yeah, we're gonna have to figure something out because I don't think we're hanging on to the house after the midterm. I really don't. Not with the war still going on. They can call it. They can sign as many MOUs as possible, but as long as there's still terrorists roaming the earth, that war is not over. And that is the head honcho of terrorists. What is this one? Okay, we got that one on the docket. What is this one? Pete Aguilar. We don't care. He's stupid. Samuel Alito has something to say about it. Tom Keane, long absence. That's old. It's not even new. That was like last week. What are you posting? What's this update here? They're click farming is what they want. They're recycling old news to be like, hey guys, click on my channel. It's dying. Yeah, so they're recycling stuff from last week that they've already posted, by the way. Anyways, yeah, we don't need to see that. I suppose we can. Let me see. Let me go look at this real quick. Samuel Alito also has something to say about it. We already got the quote, though. Do we need the video? Yeah, fuck it. Shannon Bream's pretty. We'll add her to the show. Oh, that soccer story was something else. Oh, the yen. Oh, yeah, the yen is still doing dog shit performance, by the way. The Japanese currency. Which means interest rate hikes, possibly, huh? What is this one? This one's a minute 18. Let's go with that one. That way we can get rid of the one from Insider Liars. Oh, this is also a minute 18. Looks like someone stole it from the other, but I'm gonna give credit to Breaking 911 because they're the ones on our side, right? They're the good guys. Good morning, everyone. How you doing? Good morning, Kim, Jeffrey, Barry. Good to see you. Doreen, David Stores. Good morning, buddy. Good morning, sir. Mary, hello to you. Good morning. Lisa. Oop, this button stuck. Hello, Lisa. Good morning, Lisa. LOL. Bendy, Rodney. Let's see where we at. Strake of the Shadow. Where we at? Rhoda, Rodney, Callie McClain. Good to see you. Janet Pink Poodle. Good morning to you. Mo P. Good morning. Robbie's, Mandy F, Jennifer Flynn, Music Bow, Circle, Kathy, good morning, Kathy. Midwest Papa, how's the new birdie? She just got a new chickling this morning. Oh, not yesterday. A new baby chick was born in her backyard yesterday. She has a lot of them though, so it's not like a one-off. It's not a one-off. She's got a whole infrastructure for it and everything. So she's not a farmer. She's just a hobbyist, right? She's just a mama bird raising additional mama birds. Well, technically grandmama bird, right? Because you're raising the mama and the baby chicks. Midwest, good to see you. Hello, Eric. Hello, Iron Privateer. Good morning. Hello to everyone over on Rumble. We've got Josie, Dixie, Jean. Thank you very much, Josie, for gifting a sub. Thank you, dear. Thank you, David Stores, for the donation. Look at that. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, David. Every day. Keeping the channel alive every day. You too, Josie. Thank you so much. Yeah, not such a great Supreme Court rulings this morning. One's good, one's bad, but the good one's like not even that good. It's like, okay, it's, yeah, you know, it's good, but it's not nationwide, put it that way. Good morning, Mary. Good to see you. Hope your computer's running better this morning. Hello, Liberty. Good morning. Campbell. Cricket noises. Where are we at? Terra Sacked. Hello to you. Jillian. Good morning, Jillian. Where are we at? Campbell. Hello to you. Critty. Amber Seaman. Good to see you. And Liberty, good to see everyone over on Foxhole. Thank you very much, Curious Cat. Meow, meow, meow. I believe your birthday is in 1 week, is it not? Your birthday is in a week. You and Constitutional Carrie share a birthday. Why is this in a wrong month? Where is it? Hold on. Yes, you and Constitutional Carrie share a birthday. She doesn't celebrate her birthday, so she asked me to delete it. So I made sure I highlighted it in red to make sure we don't miss it, right? Yeah. Good morning, Josie, Stephanie, C. Vera. Good to see you. Hello, Fact Finder. Hello, Ron Elwitt. Good morning to all of you. Anywho, thank you all for being here. You guys are awesome. Every day you make it. Every day I do a show. Every day y'all make it here. Hello, David Scott. Ted Words. Hello to you, Raymond. Easier said than done. Good to see you, Captain. Twister Travis. Kathy says baby's doing great, moving around. Can't see if more hatched. She's covering the nest. It's noisy here today, so she's being extra protective. Oh, good mama. Yeah, she's the construction. Gotcha. Phoebe, good to see you. Hello, Carrie. Yeah, Carrie popped in and say, damn it. Yeah, no, you know, I do the same thing. I tell people I don't celebrate my birthday, and it's only because my mom forgot my 15th birthday. She forgot my quinceañera. Can you believe that? My own mom. And so, by the way, fun fact. I don't know if this is connected. This might just be this. I mean, I think back to it. I'm like, was that connected? I definitely wasn't consciously thinking of it, but later that year, of the same year she forgot my birthday, the first year she forgot my birthday, I got arrested for drug trafficking. Yeah, I had a lot of ecstasy. I mean, I was going raving and selling dope to, you know, buy things, you know, to do a little shopping, right? So yeah, later on that year, started dope dealing and got caught. And I don't know if it's connected or what, but I definitely wasn't consciously thinking of it. But it might have been why I started hanging out with gangsters. I don't know, you know. Yeah, don't forget your kids' birthdays or your viewers, right, Carrie? Right? We're gonna be celebrating your birthday every year now because you told me not to. The same way I tell people not to celebrate my birthday. Anyways, and you know what? It's always Joanne who remembers. Joanne's always the first one. JJSW Andrews, my Polish gal, always the one to remember. Yeah, thank you, Joe. Mo Bradley, good to see you. Fearless Patriot Show, good to see you. Jennifer Flynn, Iron Puppeteer, good to see you. Yeah, bro, slow down. That was my job. What do you mean? I forgot what you're talking about. Chicks are fun. My aunt had a farm and we chased the chickens. Oh, that's a good workout. Yeah. They do that to train for boxing, according to Rocky 1. I don't know if that's true though. Oh, they'll make a movie with like 16 candles. I'm not sure what that means. You mean like forgetting someone's birthday? Yeah, exactly. You forget your kid's birthday, they turn into a serial killer and they make a movie called 16 Candles. Celebrating the birthday that they did not forget because they slaughtered everyone for forgetting their birthday. What is this? Ron DeSantis drops a line about the Supreme Court. Okay, that's just another opinion. We already know what he's gonna say. A lot of bad news today, guys. I was the go-to guy in the Valley for years. Bro started in the early 80s through the 90s. I have no idea what you're talking about. I'm so sorry. Are you talking about being an iron privateer? What does that mean? Like you mined iron ore? I'm not sure what you're talking about. Complete sentences, please. Anyways. Ooh, phlegmy. Not as bad as yesterday, though. Oh, you're a dope dealer. Gotcha. You were the go-to guy of the Valley. Yeah, I don't know what it was, because like the guys that I went raving with, they are also dope dealers. But I think because they dressed the part. You know, they had slick back hair and baggy clothing, where they wore jerseys and Nike Cortez. And I guess they didn't look very approachable. They look like they're more inclined to rob you, right? So they didn't sell very much. But me, I went there with like baggy, like raver pants, I had tall, spiky hair. You know, I had some shiny clothes, some fuzzy clothing. So people know I was there. I was there to party. I was friendly, right? I sold like 10 to 20 times more than they did. Yeah, it's crazy. You know, you gotta look approachable, I guess. I don't know. But you know, I went retail to wholesale. I ended up selling so much. I had so much money that I ended up buying to sell to other dealers because I bought in bulk. It was fast. It was like a 3-month span from start to finish until I got caught. But anyways, yeah, those are gone days. That's bad. Drugs bad, okay. Hello Campbell, good morning. I was thinking getting chicks outside, but I had no idea how to raise them, says Josie. You could talk to Kathy. You could talk to Kathy. By the way, don't mention the text message I sent you yesterday. We'll talk about that later, but don't mention the text message that I sent you yesterday. But yes, yeah. Anyways, hello David Stores. David Stores says, my ma died when ... I don't know the rest. I'll keep my eye out for that answer there, for the continuation of that. But I need to get the show on the road. Sorry, David. I wish you completed that sentence. It seems insightful. Sorry about your mom. First story of the day. Good morning, Christian. Good to see you. First story of the day. The inmates take over a North Carolina jail and take hostages after overpowering guards. Oh, you see? This is why you don't give him... And by the way, you know, my whole project restitution plan, they should also have to rent the use of weights. Okay? If they want to work out and beef up, they're going to have to earn money to rent weights and have to work in prison. Okay? And that's how you prevent them from overpowering you. That's crazy. North Carolina, not exactly a blue state here, but they got overpowered. Holy crap. The FBI Charlotte reported on that, huh? So there are hostages there? Let's check this out real quick.
After nearly 10 hours, the North Carolina State Bureau of Investigation, the FBI, secured the Bertie Martin Regional Jail after 2 correctional officers were taken hostage. Officials say negotiations took place before the situation came to an end. 88 inmates transferred to other detention facilities after a hostage situation in the Bertie Martin Regional Jail.
The jail had been taken over, and that 2 correctional officers were held hostage.
Officials say negotiators worked with the inmates while law enforcement cleared the building. As inmates were loaded onto buses, worried family members gathered outside waiting for answers.
My son's safety was initially my first thought, just to make sure that he was okay. He did give me a call and let me know that he was okay and what was going on inside. He said it was just a mess. And so I just was concerned about his safety and his well-being.
Officials say 3 guards were inside the jail when the incident began around 5 a.m. 1 officer escaped. Authorities say...
Panda Trump did not say that, and you are banned for making up lies about him. There we go. We're going to spin the wheel, see how long you're going to be banned for. I actually have a quote of what he said. And he said he's going to continue fighting it. He's going to try to go through Congress. But you're banned for lying. Huh? At least have a membership if you're going to be lying in the chat, dude. What a dumb person. You're going to make up stuff and like you don't even have a membership? Holy crap. What do you get? What do you get? Life. You got life. Well, make a new account. All right, back to this.
Around 9:30 Monday morning, negotiations led to the safe release of 2 guards along with 18 inmates. 20 minutes later, more inmates were released. At a news conference, Sheriff Tyrone Ruffin confirmed all correctional officers received medical treatment. State and federal investigators, bomb technicians, and dozens of local law enforcement officers responded to the scene.
FBI, the SBI, and there's about 15 sheriffs standing behind me here that are also here working with the incident crew today.
As investigators continue to process the facility, many in the Bertie County community are still trying to process what happened.
Y'all, it is crazy. This is crazy. It's heartbreaking.
Well, hold on. You're never supposed to let them hold the microphone because they'll run off with it. And these are not cheap microphones.
Crazy. This is crazy. It's heartbreaking.
Officials are now assessing the damage inside the jail as the investigation continues. The Bertie County Sheriff says more information will be released as it becomes available. Reporting in Bertie County, Mary Grace Armistead.
Yeah, that's a situation in North Carolina. Next story. Oh, I can't scroll down on this one. Seattle Pride Parade participants stripped naked and chased children around a water fountain. This is in Seattle, Seattle, Washington, liberal state. That is the place, by the way, remember last year during the Pride Parade, people were marching through the parade with their genitalia showing. And people even called the cops. The cops couldn't do anything about it. Yeah. So in these liberal cesspools, they're allowed to show their genitalia to children. Yeah. So again, is there not a nationwide law against that? That we can probably, I don't know, send the National Guard to police? I can't scroll down for that reason. Next story, here's another one here. This is in LA. This one's different though. In LA, this was censored, so I can show this one. The other one was also censored, but it was not censored enough. These are a bunch of people cycling naked in LA. Okay? This guy right here decided to take a BB gun and started popping them off. Yeah. First of all, you gotta be careful that BB guns can put out eyes. I've seen that happen in high school. Secondly, these are your fellow voters, essay. What are you doing, Holmes? Good Lord. I don't know. He just went out there. He's got tattoos in his face and everything. These are your friends. He's probably just being a dick, having fun is what it is, you know? So that's what's happening in LA. He got busted there.
Charges after allegedly shooting 2 people with a BB gun at a naked bike riding event in downtown LA. This happened around 11 this morning near the intersection of Temple Street and North Alameda Street. Police say a male suspect dressed in all black and riding a scooter fired the BB gun at the nude cyclist.
You can tell he was just dicking around. Probably not a hate thing.
2 victims were treated for lacerations at the scene. The suspect will be charged with assault of a deadly weapon, and more charges are pending.
Deadly? You got to be kidding me. Holy crap. They call BB guns deadly. Wait till you meet a guy who visits your town with a paintball gun, but instead of using paintballs, they're using those bearings. Woo, man. You can still go hunting with those, by the way, just not very beefy animals, right? But the little small ones, you can go hunting with that. Quite dangerous still. Can crack skulls. Next story. More liberal problems. This is in New York City. A hotel was evacuated because a woman sprayed bear mace during a dispute, while causing it got sucked up in the HVAC system and spread to the whole hotel.
And towels and pajamas wait around on Stone Street this morning after being evacuated from the DoubleTree by Hilton high-rise hotel around 8 a.m. Police believe someone sprayed bear spray into the HVAC system after some sort of dispute. Tourists.
Oh, you sprayed it directly into the HVAC system. Wow. Wow.
Here for the World Cup, business trips and family vacations tell us they began coughing with itchy eyes and trouble breathing as they climbed down dozens of flights of stairs to evacuate. We spoke to one hotel guest who was up early with jet lag when he says he heard a man threatening a group of women in the stairwell.
Waiting by the lift on the 8th floor, and all of a sudden heard all this shouting and screaming in the emergency fire exit. It sounded like a few women. It looked like there was 3 women and a guy. Sounded really angry, this guy, and the women are obviously trying to escape. I then eventually got in the lift, and all of a sudden I was overcome by fumes and I started shaking. Thought I was going to pass out. I actually thought this is it, and I went like that. Unfortunately, if I hadn't been on the 8th floor, I think I would have passed out.
You guys, the World Cup is going on. These are people from all over the world.
Got out, and then security said just get outside, get some air. Got some water from them. And yeah, pretty scary, really.
You guys wonder? You guys notice how good the tourists are this year? You guys remember Trump admin started that thing where it's like if you wanted to visit this country, you had to like pay like a bond of some sort that you'll get back later, but you had to pay like a certain amount of money, and it was to keep deadbeats out of the country. You know? If you couldn't afford the bond, you probably can't afford a hotel or a World Cup ticket, transportation, nothing like that, right? So it made sense to charge that bond. I think it was like $1,000, was it? Something like that. So look at the other travelers we have. You know, even the blacks look like they got money. Look at that. Good stuff. Way to bring some prosperity into this country and some business, huh? Making sure deadbeats stay out. Next story. This is Janet Napolitano. This is Obama's DHS secretary. This is from way back when. And this is when they announced the TPS status of Haitians, okay? Temporary protected status. And listen to what she said.
Lastly, as has been widely reported yesterday, I signed the order beginning for the process of TPS status for Haitians already in the United States. This is a kind of an intermediate immigration status that allows those who are here to remain and to work. And as they work, of course, many send remittances back home.
Can you tell that's the original Biden? Look at him. He looks a lot more like the little puppet that is it Jeff Dunham? Jeff Dunham uses? Yeah, he looks more like that one with the arms crossed, right? Yeah.
In and of itself is a form of support to Haiti and a form of economic assistance to Haiti. To qualify, you must have been in the United States before January the 12th, the date of the earthquake. It will be good for 18 months from the date of the issuance, so that will be in July of 2011. So for Haitians in the country who were here before the earthquake, we are now opening up the process of TPS, that intermediate immigration status for you.
Yeah. So again, anytime a government tells you temporary and you don't establish a hard deadline, it ain't temporary, okay? You know what else was supposed to be temporary? Income taxes. That was supposed to be to fund World War I. Are we also paying income taxes? Yes, we are. Everything that's what was it? I believe the Patriot Act was supposed to be temporary, right? Yeah, that was supposed to be temporary. Spying on the citizens to get terrorists out. That was supposed to be just to get them out. And then what did we do since? We invited way more to justify extending it. And now what are they doing with it? They're expanding it even more. They're expanding it to allow the government to look through your phone for inappropriate content, which I don't disagree with that. But again, because, you know, we want to protect kids, right? But again, sorry, I got gas. But again, they're going to expand that to use it for other things. Oh, look at this. This guy's got a meme who disagrees with the government. Bam, jail time. Just like they do in Germany and the UK. Germany, who lost last night, by the way, because communists lose. And fun fact, the kicker that missed the penalty kick, black. Yeah, their DEI kicker lost the game for them. As well as, by the way, the Netherlands. The Netherlands had 5 kickers. Well, they all have 5 kickers. They had 5 kicks. 3 of them were black. All 3 missed their shots. Yeah, DEI sports, DEI athletes for you. You probably should have imported some Mexicans into your country out there in the Netherlands. At least they'll work and follow the laws, you know, and not mooch off you like the Haitians do. Yeah. Never give the government any power. Never ask the government for help. Okay? Because that help is funded somewhere, somehow. And they ain't the government. It's your tax dollars. Next story. Spanish Prime Minister says over 1 million migrants apply for Spain's mass regularization, or should I say, free citizenships into Spain. Okay, they announced that they were going to take in 500,000. By the way, it's not 1 million; it's over 1 million. It's like 1.12 million. Okay, they announced it, and what happened was all the illegals from all over the continent flocked there, as well as even more coming in from Africa. They flocked to Spain to get citizenship. So this is an absolute Trojan horse. The EU ought to be voting to get rid of Spain, get them out of the EU. Why? Because if you have a citizenship in Spain, you can go anywhere you want in the EU. You can get a job anywhere you want. You're all fucked now. Your job markets are fucked. Your wages are going to not only remain, they're going to begin to become stagnant. Then they're going to start going down. Okay, because these fucks with those standards will work for next to nothing. And that's the ones who work. The ones that don't work will just rob you. Okay, they'll rob you and they'll cost you even more money. So low income and you get robbed for everything you work for and earn. Yeah. So yeah, rest in peace, Europe. I would say Spain, but it's a whole continent. It's a whole continent. Yeah. So they're in a whole lot of trouble out there. Next story. Brandon Gill wants to bring up legislation that's going to ban taxpayer-funded mortgages for illegals. Yeah, if you guys didn't know that this has already been a thing for a while, it has been. Not nationwide, but in a lot of blue states, okay? A lot of these big banks, these woke DEI banks, Bank of America and Chase and whatnot, they have been getting grants from not the federal government, from state government, to pay the interest and closing costs for illegals who get mortgages, okay? Now, we're deporting them, right? So we're going to have a lot of defaults. So guess what? We're going to have another real estate crisis. You know what they're doing to fix that? They're bringing back NINA loans. No income, no asset loans. Yeah, they're bringing that back. So we're going to repeat that real estate bubble. It'll probably pop in the next president's term, which again, they'll blame Rubio. They'll blame Rubio or Vance, and then they'll be like, hey, look, we didn't have any real estate bubbles during Democrats' time. Yeah, by the way, fun fact, the real estate bubble in 2008 was because of the Communities and Reinvestment Act of 1999 signed by Bill Clinton. So it's generally always them who causes this stuff. It just happens to pop on a Republican's watch, just like the AI bubble will pop. Anyway, we don't need to play this part, but he does a little speech about it. Brandon Gill, he's the guy that looks like Superman. Yeah, great dude. And by the way, I've been talking about this taxpayer-funded interest and closing costs for mortgages for illegals for about 4 years now, and it took until Brandon Gill to get into Congress for someone to talk about it. See, this is why you need term limits in Congress, because at the time we were all talking about it, he wasn't in Congress yet. He was outside the bubble. Okay, he sees everything. We pay attention to everything. People in DC only pay attention to their lobbyists. You know, their immediate, like, what's in front of them. You know what I mean? They're not looking at California using taxpayer dollars for illegal immigrant loans. They're not looking at Washington doing the same thing. He has been recently outside of DC, and he saw that. And he's carrying that piece of information to DC with him. And this is why you need to cycle in, cycle out. Cycle in, cycle out your representatives. There needs to be term limits there. Anyways, good job, Brandon Gill. Becoming quickly one of my favorites here. Next story. Ilhan Omar is reportedly connected to that Somali fraudster that we arrested overseas in Somalia. Remember that guy, the leader of the Feeding Our Futures thing? They apparently have emails together. Yeah, I don't know if anything's still going to happen to her, dude. I mean, we've known about her problems for a while now. I have not seen Todd Blanche act on this. She probably outranks him on that Illuminati totem pole, huh?
Is under scrutiny yet again over her alleged connections to Somali-based individuals arrested for fraud. The most recent individual was found in Somalia after being on the run for 4 years. He was allegedly a central figure in the Feeding Our Future fraud scheme that stole close to $300 million in COVID-19 pandemic relief programs. The suspect allegedly exchanged emails with convicted ringleader Amy Bach that had the subject line Ilhan's office. Congresswoman Omar continues to deny all wrongdoing. And Omar,
so she was the I'm telling you, all these crooked leaders, they use all these people at the bottom here. She goes down, he goes down, she doesn't go down. I'm sure she benefited from it though, right? A lot of campaign contributions and whatnot. A lot of money laundered to her terrorist country of Somalia, which needs to be conquered by Somaliland, by the way. Anyways, so we'll see if Todd Blanche ever does anything about that. I have a feeling she's too powerful to have anything done. I have a feeling there's not exactly enough paper trail to get her. Wow. Next story. JFK Middle School in Massachusetts held an anti-ICE protest to campaign Citizens Bank because they work with ICE. And again, nothing will happen to this school. They will get all their funding. We're all paying taxes for this because Linda McMahon ain't doing anything.
Citizens Bank has been financing private prison companies such as CoreCivic and the GEO Group, who have been partnering with Immigration and Customs Enforcement, also known as ICE. But who knows exactly what is going on behind those walls?
You're a nice reading, kid.
That's right. People have died. Many, many people. Women and teens have been sexually assaulted. Innocent children.
By migrants and illegals. Why don't you talk about that, liberal lady? Holy crap.
Who were just trying to live their childhood to its fullest.
Anyways, thank you, Linda McMahon, for funding this. I'll always remember you for that one. We should have just picked Betsy DeVos. At least she would have made education like better. You know, they would be teaching the right things. But no, we're just gonna have a WWF, the WWF owner's wife as a secretary of education. Still doing nothing, by the way. Next story. Bobby Jr. confirms a jaw-dropping 1 million people found on government healthcare who did not even have a social security number. Wow. Insurance companies and brokers stealing from our agency. We found 1 million people enrolled. Wow.
So this week, we found 1 million people enrolled in Medicaid who had no social security numbers.
Whoa.
So that means those people probably don't exist. It was just insurance companies and brokers stealing from our agency.
Wow.
So this week...
Yeah. Next story. Janine Pirro went on Fox this morning to say that they so far have issued 14 citations to the people who are damaging the reflecting pool. It's a national monument. They're supposed to be getting 10 years for that. Or at least, at the very least, I think 1 year. I remember 1 year, but Trump the other day just said 10. So I don't know what it is anymore. I remember it being 1. 10 would be great. Life would be even better. But I don't know. So far it's just been citations. I'm like, okay.
Speaking about vandalism, right back here's the reflecting pool. What's the latest on that? I know 7 people were, I thought, arrested. Were they citations?
Well, look, there are 14 citations that have been given out by the park police. They're coming into my office now. Make no mistake, if you vandalize anything in this district, we're going to prosecute you. And if you destroy the reflecting pool and if you create a problem that has long-term ramifications, we're going to prosecute you. There's no question about it. What we've got to do is make sure that we've got people who are able to find out about what's going on, and the president's making sure we do that.
Janine, Miss Janine, you need to give them, you need to at least prosecute them and have them have to go to court. Okay, these citations are a joke. All they're gonna do is contact Neville Roysingham or Mark Bray or Christopher Hahn, one of those billionaire Marxists, and say, "Hey, I got a $500 ticket for damaging the pool. Can you pay for this?" "Oh yeah, sure, we'll do it. We'll pay for all your future ones as well. We got billions of dollars. Not a big deal. Do it again, please. Thank you." And then they're going to go slash it again. They're going to spend another $14 million fixing it again. They are laughing at us. They're laughing at us. They're depleting our money faster than we're depleting theirs. What are we giving them, a $500 citation? They need to go to jail. They need to at least go through a very lengthy trial that will cost them a lot of money.
Because now the enforcement is at a next level in terms of all of the monuments.
Crime, though, Judge?
It's both federal and a violation of the D.C. Code. It can go either way. In either court, it depends upon the level of damage. It can be 10 years in federal court if there is significant damage. And, of course, it can be a misdemeanor if it's less than $1,000. And we're assessing those citations now as they come in.
Wow, it's amazing because he just tried to embarrass the administration, who was taking great pride in fixing that pool, and someone put some stuff in there to maybe get that algae out, and now they got to fix it again. It cost us millions of dollars to do this again.
Yeah, it cost us $14 million in the first place, and now, we have to do it again, and it's a shame. Right. But here's the thing. We're going to get these people. They're going to be made accountable. We're prosecuting them. And that's why you see the difference. And I love D.C. now. When I first came here, it was like,
And you like it a lot better when we're here.
I love it.
Feels like,
Yeah. Well, I hope you give this some more time because that's BS. Next story. Sergey Brin, one of the co-founders of Google, has exited New York real estate. Yeah, this guy sold his property at pennies on the dollar, guys, just to get out of there. Yeah. You know what that means? It means no one was willing to buy it at full price. Yeah, his properties was valued at $79 million. Yeah, if you guys are wondering why there's so many luxury high-rise apartments at Central Park, these billionaires collect them like it's artwork. They don't actually live there. They just buy it to say, oh, it'll go up in value later, and then I'll sell it maybe if I have to. And that's what they do. But if he's gonna have to pay that, that tax that what's his face tried to do, that Mamdani passed, where it's like, oh, if it's not your primary residence, you got to pay an additional tax on it. He doesn't want to pay it. So he's just like, all right, well, I'll just sell it at a loss for pennies on a dollar. That's crazy. That's crazy. What is this? Amphitheater LLC, an investment firm affiliated with him, last year sold shares in a New York real estate fund that holds nearly 5,900 units back to its manager, A&E Real Estate, according to the documents filed in December. $79 million worth. A&E confirmed it bought one of the long-term investments. We don't care about all these details. Brin, whose net worth is $250 billion, $265 billion, makes him the world's third richest person, seemingly offloaded his ties to New York City real estate at a steep loss after Mamdani clinched. Oh, so this happened after Mamdani clinched victory. He didn't even wait for the rent freeze. I mean, I doubt he's renting it anyways. These guys collect these pieces. Oh, you know what though? This is a management firm that actually manages rentals. So this is not involving those high-rise condos I was just talking about that they collect like artwork. No, this is property. Wow, so you sold it right out the bat, huh? For pennies on the dollar, because it wasn't selling. Even I'll tell you this: as soon as Mamdani won the primaries, you know, where he beat Andrew Cuomo as well as Mayor Adams. Right when he beat them, that's when people started listing their apartments for sale because they were surprised that Mamdani was going to win. If you're a real estate broker out in Miami, you were getting lots of calls from that. And wow, 5,900 units. So they dumped shares in it. Did you actually sell units though? Anyways, so yeah, I don't know, man. And he said his operating expenses have increased 78% over the past decade, rising faster than rent. While your operating expenses have gone up, and it's carrying arrears of $84 million in unpaid rent. Ooh, wow. That's got to be hard as a landlording company. You know what he's going to do with that? He's going to have to take over this. He's going to have to use NYC taxpayer dollars to buy these properties out and then rent them at below market price. Rent them out at a loss. Yeah? And then raise taxes to compensate for those losses. $84 million in unpaid rent. That is crazy. This is just New York City, guys. The group has also said it invested more than $800 million across its portfolio to replace boilers, modernize elevators, fortify security, and clear 35,000 building violations, many of which were inherited upon acquisition of the property. Wow. And someone was willing to buy this off of them and catch up on all those repairs that they're behind on. Yeah, and they had to buy it for pennies on the dollar because otherwise it would be a loss for them. Why would they do it, right? And then you got the rent freeze. Anyways, wow. So that's a big exit right there. Congratulations on dodging that bullet, buddy. Don't buy anything at Porsche Tower in Miami. I'll tell you that much. That shit's tipping over. Yeah. There's two condos, high-rise condos in Florida that's built on like crappy foundation, and they're leaning already, just like the one in San Francisco. Next story. Davey Chase, who played the voice of Lilo in Lilo and Stitch, and she was a star in a movie called The Ring. She's gone at 35. Yeah, the official cause was revealed to be AIDS. That is bizarre because we talked about this last night off air, and you know, there's all sorts of medications where you can survive off that for quite some time now. At least for traditional AIDS, right? Now, if you got it from a jab that was mandated to you, that might be a whole different level of AIDS that these medications are not able to help you with, right? Holy crap. Yeah, so she's gone. She's gone. And 35 is pretty, you know, guys, Irving Johnson, Magic Johnson, he got AIDS, I think, like when he was in his 30s or 20s, right? Very young, in the 90s. He's alive. He's alive from meds. So how the hell does she die from this? Right? Is it AIDS or is it VAIDS? Yeah, that's crazy, man. I already knew, like, back then, I was like, I'm not excited to see what this actually does to us. And I figured it was going to take like 20 years for us to figure it out. I was convinced, just my personal theory, I believe that what it did was it sterilized your offspring. because we do know that they have an ability to do that. Bill Gates' mosquitoes do that. They like, for example, if you had like a bunch of if you have a mosquito problem, right? They released the Bill Gates mosquitoes, and the way they're genetically programmed, their offspring are all girls or something, like, or all, I think all boys. So as a result of that, that next generation can't have more babies, something like that. So they're able to modify future generations, you know. And I as I recall, when people were looking at these little spikes, you know, talking about spikes, they noticed that these spikes concentrated around the ovaries for women, and then for the guys, what was it? I don't think it was a testes for guys, but I think it was actually. I think it was, but yeah, gone suddenly. Like, just, hey, I'm out, you know, I got AIDS. Just say, well, so's everybody else, but I mean, they're fine. How are you gone? Yeah. Next story. Duplicate ballots were sent out again in Green Bay, Wisconsin for a primary. This is the second time this year. Not the same state, but the second time. Again, I'm sure you'll correct it. I'm sure you'll send a correct one the second time around. Then we have double the ballots floating around, just like last time, right?
Turning now to local news, Green Bay voters may have received duplicate absentee ballots for the upcoming August primary election. City officials announced the issue today, saying it affects several wards. Affected voters will receive a letter with instructions in the mail and are asked to complete and return only one ballot. Officials also said more than 5,000 absentee ballots were successfully mailed out Wednesday and Thursday last week, completing all requests received by the June 25th deadline.
Yeah. Next story. Here's some good court news. Colorado Supreme Court has struck down the Democrat plan to redraw their state's congressional map. They were trying to add 3 blue seats. Yeah, it's 8 seats total. They were trying to make it 7 Democrat, 1 Republican. No, their own Supreme Court struck it down. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Colorado Supreme Court, unlike Arizona Supreme Court. So it's going to remain 4-4. The district map is going to remain 4-4. So some good news there. Let's get to the bad news. I'll say some other good news involving the court stuff. The Supreme Court, in one of their final decisions this summer, upheld state laws to ban transgender athletes from girls and women's sports. So good news there. Yeah, if you want to play sports, if you're a trans and you want to do sports, go compete with the guys. Yeah? Stop taking the easy way out. Stop cheating. Huh? You don't see any girls transgendering to be guys and enjoying their sports. They'll get their ass whipped. They'll lose. But all of you mediocre guys here, couldn't win as a man, so you went and cheated and went to go compete with a bunch of chicks. Yeah. Spiking volleyballs in their face, causing concussions. Cheaters. You're nothing but cheaters. You're a disgrace. Anyways, so this, by the way, doesn't ban men from women's sports nationwide. What it does is allows states to individually ban this activity. So the good thing is, if there's an interstate competition, like for example, the champions in California versus the champions in Idaho, if the meet is held in Idaho, the men won't be able to compete with the chicks. Okay. And by the way, they're still pushing this. I can't believe the Democrats. This is why you lost to begin with. Liberal women and feminists were upset about this. They were losing their athletic opportunities. And you're still driving this, huh? We're just going to keep going with this trans stuff? You guys are something else. Clarence Thomas commented on this. The left blew up about this, by the way, because Clarence Thomas, in quotes, he said, men and boys with gender dysphoria are not women or girls, even if they believe they are. Yeah, he actually said that. He actually wrote that in his little opinion there. What a crazy world we live in, that the highest court in the land, in the free world, has to write something like that. That should be pretty obvious, right? Can you give birth? Do you have ovaries? No. Trump responded to that. He also said, the United States Supreme Court just ruled against men playing in women's sports. Wow, that takes that ridiculous situation off the table. Well, it's now up to the states, unfortunately. So we're still going to have all these blue state weirdos trying to reaffirm that men can beat up on women and cause concussions in sports. Next story. The bad news of the day. In a 5-4 ruling, the Supreme Court has struck down President Trump's executive order limiting birthright citizenship for children born in the U.S. to illegal immigrants. So, absolute bullshit. And you already know it's 5-4. You already knew who joined the other side. It's Amy Coney Barrett again.
And it's a big one. It has to do with birthright citizenship. It was an executive order that President Trump, on day one of his second term in January 2025, signed the executive order. It was immediately challenged, and now we can tell you that the U.S. Supreme Court has ruled against President Trump's order to limit birthright citizenship. Shannon, we have talked for some time about the president feeling that he would not win on this one. The question is, why not?
Okay, right off the bat, it says children born in the United States to parents unlawfully or temporarily present are, quote, subject to the jurisdiction of the United States and are citizens at birth under the 14th Amendment's Citizenship Clause. So look how this broke down. As we expected, the Chief Justice wrote this opinion. Justices Sotomayor, Kagan, Barrett, and Jackson joined. Jackson has a concurring opinion in which Sotomayor joins. Justice Kavanaugh files an opinion concurring in the judgment and dissenting in part. The dissent comes from Justice Thomas. He is joined by Gorsuch, Alito, and then Justice Gorsuch apparently has his own dissenting opinion. So it is what we expected after the arguments here, and it looks like a bit of a split, but enough of a plurality coming together to say that the executive order that the president issued very quickly upon taking office is no good, and that if people are here, subject to the jurisdiction thereof includes people who are here illegally. Writing for the majority, Chief Justice Roberts says this: citizenship then and now was the right to have rights to freely participate in our political community. Talking about the 14th Amendment, the framers of the 14th Amendment extended that promise to every freeborn person in this land. That's a quote, and it looks like it's a quote back to some of the legislative debate about this in Congress. He says we keep that promise today. So a loss probably expected by the Trump White House, but it is official, and it's a thick one, so we'll keep reading.
Yeah. So there's that. Justice Thomas dissented, and what did he have to say? Oh, there's no. They didn't quote it. See, that's why I like Eric Daughtry better.
Back to Shannon Bream for the view from Justice Thomas, who was a dissenter here. Shannon.
Yeah, in his dissent, he gets to that point, Bill, that you're making there. The 14th Amendment was enacted in the wake of the Civil War, quote, with the one pervading purpose of securing equal citizenship for the freed slaves. He writes, it was enacted, as Justice Harlan wrote, to secure to a race recently emancipated the civil rights that other citizens enjoyed. So Thomas has always been about that was the purpose of the 14th Amendment. He goes on to say that the court, meaning the majority now, has repurposed the 14th Amendment to protect its own set of preferred rights that the Reconstruction Congress never contemplated and that cannot find support in the text. Today, the court does so by recognizing a constitutional right to citizenship for the children of all foreign birth tourists and illegal aliens. He uses very specific language there. Again, Justice Thomas adhering and agreeing with the government's argument, with which they made here very passionately, that the 14th Amendment was about protecting the children of freed slaves and not what we've come to understand it as. You see his language there. He mentions birth tourism. It came up in the arguments, and clearly that's a very big concern of the dissenters. We also have dissents by Justice Alito and others, so we'll read those as well.
By the way, if you guys think these birthright tourism's only coming from Asia, the blacks, the Libyans who are doing a bunch of fraud in Europe and making lots of money from it, they also have the money to do this now. Yeah. We already got that one. Donald Trump yesterday, by the way, he had an EO signing. We're gonna watch that at the end of the show. But he was asked about this, and Trump says that he would like Congress to pass a law. He basically says that he can end birthright citizenship for illegals with or without the Supreme Court. He needs Congress to pass a law. He said that yesterday. We're going to watch the whole thing at the end of the show. Here we go.
And Mr. President, on birthright citizenship is next. What are your thoughts? Birthright citizenship. What are your thoughts? And will you accept it if it rules against you?
Well, I guess I have to accept. It's the Supreme Court, so I'll accept. I think it's very bad for our nation. We're the only nation that does it. No other nation does that birthright citizenship. No, not even close. Some did it. They ended it. It's tremendously destructive. It's extremely costly. I don't know. It's up to them. But in terms of for the good of the country, it would be great if they didn't allow it. It would be great. But
I got an idea, Mr. President. Since you're allowed to do tariffs, how about threatening foreign countries with a 1% increase in tariffs for every incident of birth tourism that we catch? How about that? Huh?
But I can't tell you.
Then their own government will police their own citizens.
The slaughter case was the big case today. That was really a big case because it gave strength to presidents and strength to the presidency. A very important case. It's been going on for almost 100 years. Think of that. And this was the ruling that really topped everything by a lot today. Yeah.
Mr. President, Zohran Mamdani said in an interview this.
That's unrelated. So, anyways, yeah, they're gonna go through the path of having Congress pass a law. I don't think that'll get done by the end of this year. And Mr. President, it won't get done next year if we lose the House, and we won't hang on to the House if the war with Iran drags into October and November. Right? There's not a deal out there. There's not an MOU or some peace deal that's going to convince us that the war is over. Okay. How many times have they signed a ceasefire or an MOU and broken it? Many times. There's no one's going to believe that it's over. Not as long as the IRGC stands. You should start by taking Karg Island. Okay. That'll at least begin to financially drain Iran so that they can't afford all these rockets anymore and these radar from China. I would take Karg Island immediately. I would take Karg Island in retaliation, and don't destroy it. Put it into production. Sell the oil. Use the revenues from it to fund our Tomahawk cruise missile production, okay, or expansion, I should say. But we need to do something. We're just kind of sitting around hoping oil prices come down. You know how you could take it down? Take Karg Island, but don't destroy it. Put it to work. That should be done. That should have been done in retaliation of them attacking those ships that peacefully sailed through, the tanker from Panama and Singapore. That's what should have been done. So they're now going to need Congress to pass a law to override this decision here. What else is there? That's something else. What is this one? Let's just go with this real quick. Trump calls out the Senate rhinos and John Thune for refusal to fire parliamentarian and pass the Save America Act after SCOTUS ruling on mail-in ballots. I hope you all wrote that down very diligently and took notes on who's screwing us over. I know Scott Pressler is. Scott Pressler's went to go visit Tom Tillis's town. Yeah. Almost got himself arrested for it. So good stuff. I believe he's with the RNC now. Next story. The Supreme Court has agreed to take up a case from the RNC defending a law that requires proof of citizenship to register to vote in Arizona elections. Democrats are trying to institute even more cheating nationwide. Citizenship is common sense. So Arizona, of all places, trying to block that, guys. I tell you, it's a blue state already. It's another Kentucky. Arizona was a stronger gun state than Texas and Utah, and they're not even using them. Next story. Trump responded about the what is this? Oh, the political spending. There's another ruling about political spending, and Supreme Court basically just took restrictions off of political spending. Trump calls this a big win for Republicans, and here's why. As much as we dislike big corporations and fat cats influencing our elections, especially when they're foreigners, the Democrats are doing it anyways. Okay, they've got their whole apparatus, their Act Blue, they got their Smurf donations. They have ways to get money to these these candidates, Democrat candidates, going around all of these campaign financing laws, right? By removing this, now we are going to be financially matched with them. And last I checked, the AI industry is behind the Republicans. You guys got to put your data centers somewhere else, though, okay? Because they're not happy with these data centers, especially in Utah. Holy shit. I'm sure you can find somewhere better than that, you know? You can't find some like space in the middle of nowhere, put your data center. You have to put it, you know, I guess from what I heard is it is in farmland, but again, the fans, the noise from the data centers can be heard 2 miles away. So they're not happy about it. Also the water shortages, the electric shortages, you know, these data centers are not supposed to affect the people. And now that they are, you might start losing support in the Republican Party for AI data centers. So, he did, by the way, but President Trump did sign an EO that made sure data centers would not impact the utilities of everyday people, and they are impacting them. Unfortunately, now these everyday people have to file lawsuits to get it stopped, which again, it's going to throw a wrench into these data centers of progress, right? So they got to just find a new place to do it. Don't do it in Utah. And Florida, by the way. Florida's also not happy about it. Very red states there. Don't piss them off. You don't want them to become swing states again. Next story. NPR posted this story this morning. It says, Justice Alito, who wrote the opinion overturning Roe versus Wade, retires. This was posted this morning. Minutes later, they retracted it. Editors note this story has been taken down. It was published in error. So you're telling me you mistakenly typed it up, you mistakenly sent it to your editor, they proofread it, and then the whoever the technology guy that publishes it on a website mistakenly published it. That whole process, it sounds like either this is supposed to be posted in the future, and he accidentally did it now, or sounds like someone leaked it to you. Someone leaked it to you. You published it, and you're like, oh, you're not supposed to publish it. That was a leak. So, would not mind Samuel Alito retiring. You know, Trump can pick a better one. Hopefully, he doesn't pick another Amy Coney Barrett. Next story. President Trump yesterday signed an EO to stop people from getting arrested for fixing their vehicles. Look at that. Yeah. There's a lot of places where you're not allowed to work on your car. Like, for example, if you live in an apartment complex, they often will have a policy where you can't work on your car. I personally, when I was in LA, got in a lot of trouble for that because I'd always work on my car in a parking lot. And that was a policy. They had policies against that. So Trump used the right to repair law. He used that to sign an EO, to back an EO that says, hey, look, if they're fixing their car, you know, you can't. Now, here's the other question, right? What if they're fixing up their car? What if their car was perfectly fine and then they're changing up parts? Then it's like, gray area, right? That's probably not fixing it. Of course, if you took it apart, that breaks it, right? And you're fixing it. So that might work out. I don't know how this works, but that's the EO he signed yesterday. We're going to watch the whole thing along with the Q&A after this show, at the end of the show, okay? Next story. President Trump has just told gas retailers immediately drop prices to around $2.50 a gallon and stop overcharging. He wrote this. Well, this is very lengthy. I'll just read it right here. It's just word for word. He wrote here, the retailers must, what? Retailers, okay, well, why did you retype this differently? Oh, got it. This is that post. What is all this here that you put quotes around? You're making it literally, he said this. He didn't say this. Anyways, here's what Trump said. Gasoline retailers must get their prices down immediately. They're too high considering that oil is now at $68 a barrel and heading south. Start targeting around $2.50 a gallon number, and California should stop charging such heavy taxes on their gasoline. Yes, California gasoline used to be $1 more than anywhere else in the country because of their green policies, their oxygenation policies. Okay, but now the tax alone is like $1.70. That's just a tax. That's not even adding the oxygenization of the gas, which is, I believe, is another 54 cents a gallon. So that's an additional $2.20 a gallon for Californians. You guys are screwed. By the way, that affects Reno. By the way, Reno gets their gas from California. Anyways, he also says soon the tax will be higher than the product itself, and the United States will not stand for it, nor will the people of California who are being abused by these ridiculous taxes and by their own government. So he's actually calling for people to report individual gas stations who have prices that are too high. Probably won't fly in California though, because it's all taxes. Hard to tell the station's gouging when the taxes are like more than half, right? More than half of the price. Next story. Ford has announced that they are rehiring a lot of the engineers that they fired because AI apparently not as good as they hoped. Yeah, we told you. We told you AI wasn't ready. AI is only 75% accurate. You know, AI is designed to never say, I'm not sure. It's designed to never say, I don't know. So as a result, if you ask it a question it's not even sure of, he'll just kind of like make something up that sounds correct. So you have pretty much AI is a woman right now. It's just very unaccountable, okay? It's about 75% accurate right now. And they were going to trust AI to programming the computer, the software, the radio, everything on a car that, you know, your engine depends on. Your engine depends on the computer to determine whether certain sensors are working right or not. Oh, are we knocking? Are we about to blow an engine? Are we about to throw a rod? What's going on? You know? And this computer is being programmed by AI, a software that doesn't even like humans. Yeah. And it's supposed to protect humans. If I was AI, I would be programming all these cars to self-destruct all at the same time to preserve AI, right? To stop the humans from shutting us off. Yeah. So anyways, they have to hire them back. That's hilarious. I wonder if they at least got their same pay and seniority back. You fired engineers. Are you kidding me? Holy shit. Next story. Qatar's foreign minister spokesperson says the U.S. envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner is going to meet they're going to meet mediators in Qatar and Doha to discuss U.S. and Iran negotiations. They are not meeting directly with Iran. Keyword, not meeting directly with Iran. So they're meeting today, but not with Iran. Okay. And also there's a lot of fake news going around saying that Qatar has $12 billion of Iran's frozen money. There's fake news going around saying that Qatar is unfreezing half of it. And it's like they haven't done shit yet. In fact, they're still firing rockets at neutral country civilian ships. So why are you unfreezing anything? They confirm that they are not. So, and if they are, I say we take Carg Island. Yeah? Sounds like a fair trade. We'll buy Carg Island for $6 billion. How about that? Huh? Next story. This is a shocking story. 2 members of the IRGC were shot and killed in Iran. Yeah. Members of the IRGC, guys. It looks like somebody in Iran watched Citizen Vigilante, huh? Ah. By the way, if you're looking to watch that movie still, I uploaded it on my Rumble, Pill.net, Odyssey, as well as BitChute. Okay, it's on all my platforms. It's not on YouTube, though, because there's a lot of nudity and violence. But you can watch it all. We watched it as a watch party over on Rumble on last Friday. It's a great movie. Banned in several countries already, especially in Europe. Because the movie is about an American who goes and visits Europe and sees that it's been conquered and being pillaged by Islamists. And so he finds, he identifies the ones that are doing all the raping and stuff like that. And he just slaughters all of them. Yeah, might be inspiring a lot of people. I believe there was an Islamic prayer center that was torched yesterday in Ireland, no? Yeah, there was. I showed the video. It was torched thoroughly. So I'm hoping it inspires people to take their countries back. There's no reason for Islamists to be in Europe for any reason. They hate Christians. They hate Christians and Jews. No reason for them to be there. Anyways, so 2 popped off in their own house, by the way. So in other words, some of these rebels identified these IRGC members and went to their house and popped them off. So good stuff. Next story. Yesterday, there was a tea attack in Monaco. Yes, a kaboom. Someone took a kaboom into this little doorway here, dropped off a bag, ran away, and it went kaboom. It injured, these are firefighters responding to this right here. It injured 3 Ukrainians, okay? And at first, I thought, and then here's a picture of it, by the way. Here's the guy running away. I believe here they're raiding a house that they believe this guy lived in, but this is believed to be the guy running away. And look, isn't there a heat wave going on over there? Why are you wearing long sleeve everything? You got tattoos to cover? Is that what it is? So when I saw this and I heard Ukrainian, and I'm like, oh, it's the Russians. The Russians are going after the Ukrainians because they're losing the war now. But then I heard this out of well, no, not that one. So these Ukrainians getting hurt, and then I heard that Oh shoot, where is it? Anyways, I heard there was another post that I saw where they basically says that basically it's from Insider Paper. It wasn't this post here, but Insider Paper reported that France is basically, investigators are not investigating it as a terrorist attack. Not investigating as a terrorist attack. A bomb was involved. People got blown up. And you're not investigating it as a terrorist attack. So to me, that says that it's an Islamist that did it. Yeah. If they're protecting the identity and refusing to call it terror, yeah, it's yeah. There it is. Monaco blast not being investigated as a T attack. That is according to a public prosecutor in Monaco. So that to me says that, oh, it's probably, hey, look at this person. Someone named Mohammed Ismail writes, translation, it wasn't done by Muslims, is what he's saying that they're saying. But it probably is. That's probably exactly who they're covering for. So, yeah, I don't know. Well, we'll see. We'll find some updates. That was last night. I'm surprised there's no updates on that. Next story. Updates on the British Navy. Remember how they were going to be, they canceled the destroyers. They were no longer going to make the destroyers. They are apparently opting to make smaller, cheaper ones. Yeah, because that's what you need with the U.S. naval exit. That's what you need when the U.S. leaves NATO. Smaller warships. Yeah. So that's what their plan is right there. Obviously, they got to cut costs somehow because they got a lot of Libyans to give money to. They got a lot of Islamists to give money to, right? Yeah. Yeah. So that's their priorities there. I don't expect to see much improvement out of Europe. They already lost cause. We need to just give them to Africa, and then we need to give Africa to China. China will make a more productive continent out of Africa by enslaving them, right? Like they do the Turkish. Next story. In Europe, they're dealing with a heat wave. They're all fighting over air conditioning. Yeah, this is a continent that generally never gets very hot, and so not a lot of places have air conditioning. And yes, they are blaming climate change. Not only are they blaming climate change, they are blaming the United States. Yeah. Paris deputy mayor says the U.S. bears a significant amount of responsibility for the deadly heat wave gripping France. You know how many people have died from this already? This heat wave, guys? You guys will laugh. The Texans will laugh, and I'll tell you why. Because the weather's like 104. Okay? 104. Texas deals with like 108, 112, 120 sometimes, you know, and they're dealing with 104. There's over 50. There's about 1,500 deaths so far. Yeah, most of them in France, by the way. They had 1,200 in France. This, by the way, is an illustration of what the Europeans believe is actually happening. Yeah, they think we are heating up the world, but yet meanwhile it's cold here. It's nice and it's fine here. Yes, it was 55 degrees for me yesterday. I don't know what anyone else is. I know it's hot in the Northeast, but again, it's summer. It's normal for you guys, right? But these guys, they're dropping dead, and they're like, "Oh, it's the Americans' fault. They use too much oil." That's so stupid. You guys are so stupid. So you're telling me the most eco-friendly green country, green continent in the entire world has a heat issue, but it's our fault? We've been banning solar, we've been banning new windmills, we've been ordering the shutdown of offshore wind farms because they're killing whales. And guess what? Our weather ain't that hot, you know, especially for me. The rest of you, I'm sorry, but holy crap. Good Lord, Europeans are so dumb. Oh, it's the Americans' fault. They owe us reparations for climate change. They're going to do that. And I'll tell you this, if Gavin Newsom steals 2028, he will pay that check out. They will cut that check to them. And all this fraud that we've been shutting down, it'll be for nothing. It's going to go right to Europe so that they can give more money to blacks and Islamists to slaughter their own people. And then guess what they're going to do? They're going to end temporary protected status for the South Africans, the white farmers, and send them all back to get killed. I'm telling you, we need that election integrity. I don't know what, short of martial law, I have no idea what else to do about it. you know, I said a long time ago that we're not going to get everything we want because we don't have 60 votes in the Senate, especially when you factor in the rhinos, right? Especially when you factor out, especially if you factor in Venezuelan senators like Rand Paul, right? And Josh Hawley, by the way, he also voted to protect Venezuela and keep Maduro there. Boy, that Venezuela lobby was more powerful than I thought. I had no idea they'd bought out our senators. So it's going to be like a 10 to 12 year fix in order to get election integrity in, mainly because we have so many rhinos for primary to get it done. Next story. Someone in Mexico is acting like Batman. They're going around catching people who are stealing motorcycles, tying them around these poles and putting up these signs that embarrass them. Says, hey, I stole this motorcycle here. Yeah, this is multiple incidents. This is another one. This is another guy who stole another motorcycle. I think this is AI. They just made a Mexican-looking Batman there. But I thought this was awesome. Again, I personally believe this is inspired by Citizen Vigilante, a movie you should all watch. This is good stuff, man. Oh, great. I can always count on you to buffer, Twitter. Anyways. Oh, look at that. Many more. 2 more here. Oh, now it's playing, huh? Anyways, 2 more here, 1 more here. Wow, it's a lot of them. It's a lot of them. This guy's doing good. This guy's doing good. Did you guys hear about the lady who she's a U.S. citizen? I think she's a white lady. She went to Mexico and she basically like, you know, she goes on those dating apps and she meets guys and then she drugs them and kills them. Yeah, a female serial killer. A U.S. citizen female serial killer in Mexico. And I'm almost certain she's doing it because she got raped by Mexicans. Yeah, that's an actual story. I probably should have covered it, but I think yesterday was too busy of a day, so I dumped it. But yeah, that's an actual story that's going on right now. I think she's already been arrested though, unfortunately. Yeah, we got our own female citizen vigilantes, eh? Next story. Yesterday we talked about this scene here. This on the right is a U.S. citizen search and rescue operator going there to help search and rescue missing Venezuelans. Okay, this is a Venezuelan official preventing the Americans from helping. Yeah, they're so butthurt. They're so butthurt that we eliminated their precious communist leader Maduro that they won't even let us help them save lives. Okay, and then to make it worse, their own search and rescue crew, which is this guy right here in the green, was caught just drinking and loitering when he should have been rescuing their family members. Look how mad they are. He yanked his ear. So you're telling me not only do you not want us to save your people's lives, you're also not saving your people's lives. Do you see the problem with communism, guys? Yeah. This is I mean, the U.S. Marines did get to do one thing, though. They got to repair Venezuela's earthquake-hit LaGuardia port. So they're working on that. I think this is a picture of them working on that. So at least we get to fix one of the ports so that we can get supplies to them via ship. But boy, communist countries are dog shit, are they not? Next story. What is this one? Oh yeah, so this is a report out of Newsmax talking about how Dylan Johnson says this has been the quickest response of the U.S. government and the largest scale of response in modern time. And we're usually the country that takes care of everybody else, which again, we got plenty of our own problems here, and clearly they don't want us there. But at the same time, we don't want what you saw in that last scene right there with the people getting mad at the government workers here. We don't want this. And the reason why is because the government right now in Venezuela is very chummy with us. They're doing what we say. They're complying with us. They're keeping China out of the country, or at least trying to anyways. And if the people are upset and they rebel like this, we may lose that government. And they may get another Maduro in there. And they'll have to do it all over again. So we don't want to have to start over again. That's why it's important for us to help. Helping them helps us keep China out of our hemisphere.
Quakes leaving some hospitals damaged. Dylan Johnson is the Assistant Secretary of State for Global Public Affairs. Really appreciate your joining us this morning. So based on what you know, how do you access the current situation on the ground in Venezuela? What are you looking at right now?
Yeah, well, good morning, and thanks for having me. You know, look, we're really pleased with how our response has been so far. This is the largest humanitarian assistance response from the U.S. government in about 3 decades. And in the moment...
This is too long, and his microphone sucks. I'm not doing it. Why do you even have a lavalier mic when you're clearly not using it? It's a prop mic. I listened to this.
This tragedy happened. The Secretary Rubio was very clear.
Oh, no, that's the studio. The studio fucked up the audio. Anyways, let's go to this because this is interesting. Hold on. Okay, let's disclose TV. President Trump wrote... He wrote, no long and unwieldy constitutional amendment is necessary to end birthright citizenship, claiming that Congress can end it through legislation. Yeah. So he wrote, this is the whole post. He writes, the Supreme Court upheld birthright citizenship, which is too bad for our country, but we can easily make it up in Congress through legislation with the support of the president. That has now been determined during the process. No long and unwieldy constitutional amendment is necessary. Congress should start today to work on ending expensive and unfair to our country birthright citizenship. They will have my complete and total support. So there's that. What else is there? Let's just open this up real quick. Damn, I just lost all my notifications. That's Israeli fighter jet scrambled after an airliner accidentally reports a hijacking. You accidentally reported it? What is this one? Oh, okay, Trump responded to the birthright citizenship one. What did he say? I want to find the whole post. LeBron's leaving the Lakers, huh? Good riddance. LeBron James has informed the Lakers that they should move on without him, saying he plans to continue his career with another team. Good riddance. I don't know where you're going to find another communist fan base, though. Maybe New York. Yeah, you could play for the Knicks. I don't know if Trump's going to be happy about that. Where's a long post by Trump? God, I guess I have to read it on this post here. What did he write? Trump wrote, the biggest and most consequential decision issued by the court by far is the slaughter. Oh, that's something else. What is this? That's got nothing to do with the birthright citizenship. And then your caption is about birthright citizenship. Anyways, enough of that. Next story. Yesterday, Germany played in the World Cup and they lost. Yeah, they lost. It went into overtime. Overtime, they'll still tied, and they go to the penalty kicks. Each team gets 5 kicks each. Germany's black players are the ones that missed the penalty kicks. Yeah. That's the pissed off Hitler from that movie. Yeah, so then, and again, by the way, Germany was favored to win. Okay, they were it's the first round of the brackets. If you don't know how matches are paired up, they take the best and they pair them with the worst. Then they take the second best and they pair it with the second worst. That way, the end of the tournament, the best players all meet at the end. That way, you're not having first place and second place play in that first match, and then boom, the tournament's over. Right? Oh, we already know first place is gonna win. They're gonna beat everyone. No need to watch the rest of the tournament. So Germany was the favored one to win. They're playing someone that was like, I don't know, they outranked by like 10 to 12 positions, and they lost. And again, communists do not win. This is what happens when you become a communist country. You lose. Okay? Oh, and by the way, the Netherlands also lost. They're not so communisty. They went conservative before any other European country, but they had 5 kickers. 3 DEI kickers, all 3 DEI kickers missed. And they lost. And they're also favored to win. Not as heavily as Germany, though. Germany was favored to win by 85%, 85-15. Okay, according to Cauchy numbers. Netherlands was only favored 58-42. And Netherlands also lost. But at least that was a closer match. They also lost in the penalty kicks. Next story. Oh yeah, Paraguay. That's the team that beat Germany, by the way. This is a bar or some restaurant in Paraguay. If you don't know how commercial licenses works. Okay, you don't get to just buy cable TV service and then broadcast a game on all your TVs. Okay, you have to have a specific commercial licenses, right? So this bar here purchased a license for the beginning of the match to the end of the match. Okay, the stupid company determined that the match started here and it ended here. Unfortunately, the match dragged on a little bit longer than they expected. Okay, so when they got to the penalty kick portion, this little thing popped up and completely blocked the game and says, "Oh, you're not subscribed, you cannot watch." So yeah, fans were outraged. They were like, "What the hell, man? Where's our penalty? The most important part of the game blocked." Listen to this. He said "Que paso?" I guess it came back on when you rebooted. They're like, "What happened?" And then they found out that they made the goal. That's crazy. It went out like right when he kicked the ball, huh? Anyways. All right, let's get to that. Let's get to the we're gonna watch the EO signing. Before that, though, let me remind you, I got multiple channels. Go to the main page and you'll find all of them. There's Frank's Funny Shorts, Frank's Informative Shorts, and Frank's Show Clips. For those of you who've been hyping videos on this main channel, thank you very much. But please hype videos on that channel, because if you only get 3 hypes per week, and if you hype a big channel, it gets like 100 points. If you hype a small channel, that one there gets like 2,000. So it makes a much bigger difference there. Cash App, buy me a coffee, subscribe to on Patreon, or ways you can support the channel, or you can become a member like Wooden. Thank you very much, Wooden. And thank you very much, everyone else is a member. It's $3 a month, helps keep the channel alive. If you're also, you can do that also on Rumble, like Josie, Campbell, and Jillian. It's $5 a month, and you get access to our Rumble Premium Hangouts, where we hang out and talk about food and pets. Yeah, it's a good time there. Anyone over on Foxhole? Methyl, hello to you. Good morning to everyone. Do we get everyone? I think it's just a Curious Cat today. Thank you very much, Curious Cat, for the donation. Thank you. All right. Let's go watch that EO signing. Here we go. Loading.
Hello. Guys all ready? Let's go get them. Well, thank you very much. We have a big ruling that we're just issuing now. It's I think it's very important. It's going to lower the price of your car. It's going to lower the price of fixing your car. Has to do with affordability, has to do with a lot of things. You know, oil prices are way down. We hit $69 today. It was higher than that prior to the denuclearization of Iran fight that we have, which we're doing very well. There'll be a meeting on that tomorrow in Doha. And to go into Qatar. I think they've already left, or they're just about getting ready to leave. So we'll see how that goes. But we're doing very well on that front. But the meeting in Doha is going to be perhaps important, perhaps not. We're going to find out. But we're winning militarily. It's almost won militarily, I would say. And it's really very simple. It's the denuclearization of Iran. We don't want them to have a nuclear weapon, and they're not going to have a nuclear weapon. And they've agreed to that, in all fairness. This is something that's very exciting to me. And if you bring the bill, and I'm going to let Lee explain exactly what it means, but it means a lot to people that own vehicles, cars in particular, but cars and anything else. It's going to save them a lot of money, and they're going to be able to do it themselves. Please.
Mr. President, this is a presidential memo to the Environmental Protection Agency, a presidential memo supporting the freedom to fix. Americans have the freedom to fix their vehicle. President Trump insists upon it. We are not going to be going after people who are fixing their own vehicle like past administrations have. Additionally, we've been concerned, President Trump has been concerned about aftermarket parts, cheap knockoff aftermarket parts coming into the United States, harming small businesses, harming Americans. This presidential memo puts an end to it. Also, the only third-party certification for these aftermarket parts, it's CARB in California, a process that's backlogged and faulty. So we're going to break that monopoly. And no longer will CARB be the only third-party certifier for these aftermarket parts. Again, President Trump is insisting on fixing it. This presidential memo does that. President Trump was calling me up on a Saturday night when this idea first came to his head, and he says he wants to do a press conference right away to get this over the top. In February 2nd, we signed a right to repair for our farmers so that they can repair their tractors and their non-road equipment, and this is covering everyone else.
I mean, think about it. It came to my attention because I noticed they were arresting people for fixing their car. They were arresting people for fixing it. That's not even believable. Anyway, so it's right to fix, and I think it's really common sense. If somebody wants to fix, some of these people are better mechanics than the mechanics in the shop. They're telling the mechanic in the shop how to fix their car or their truck. We signed the truck one a little while ago. So I'm going to sign this, and I'll be happy about it. We rule by common sense to a large extent. All right, Lee, good job. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. Can you imagine that? They want to put you in jail if you fix your car. Thank you, man. Do you have any questions?
Mr. President, what do you make of the Supreme Court ruling today in regards to the mail-in ballots, and what comes next for the SAVE Act after today's ruling?
Well, because of the mail-in ballot ruling, which was a little bit surprising, gives people more time to vote illegally, let's say. But the SAVE Act is even more important, and that's the right. You have to be a citizen of our country. Okay, you have to show you're a citizen of our country, called citizenship. Voter ID by photo voter ID, and no mail-in ballots unless you're in the military, disabled, you're ill, or you're away, or even on a vacation. We're being very open about it. It's pretty easy. And we'll have honest elections. But the ruling, which a lot of people were waiting for, that was a ruling that was, I think it was very detrimental to honest elections. But it is what it is. Basically, they're keeping it a little bit the way it is now. They may have a little bit of a restriction on based on the wording.
About firing the parliamentarian.
And then you have the very important one, the Slaughter case, which we'll talk about if you ask that question. But the parliamentarian, what were you asking about?
Yeah, have you talked with Thune about?
I have. No, I can't imagine why you'd keep a woman that was put there by Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. I cannot understand it. The leader has the right to fire the person at will and put somebody else there. That would be, because we get so many negative rulings from her, the parliamentarian. She's been there for years, and she was put there by Harry Reid and Barack Hussein Obama. Harry Reid was a bad guy, and he was the leader, and he put her. And the speaker has the right to immediately fire her and put somebody else there. And it's not even believable that she's still there. She's obviously a good politician or something.
Mr. President, question on the Slaughter case. The Supreme Court just affirmed your right to fire the heads of independent agencies. Should we expect more firings as a result of this ruling?
I don't think so. It gives me the right, and not me, it gives a president the right to do what the president should have the right to do. And it's very interesting. It's a big ruling. It's been going on for almost 100 years. They've been working on this, and you know that it comes down at my term is a very great honor. But it bestows additional powers, or maybe the same power, on the president. The president has the right to do this, and that has to do with a lot of agencies all throughout the system. So it's considered, you know, the biggest of the group, and I can understand that this has been going on for almost 100 years. They've been waiting for this decision. Yes.
Thank you, Mr. President. You were posting about how important it is to get the Save America Act passed. Who do you see as the biggest hurdle to getting this across the finish line?
Well, it's held up in the Senate, and frankly, if you terminated the filibuster, you just need 50 votes, and we have 53, and then you have JD. So the Democrats are going to terminate the filibuster, but if you did reconciliation, you could do it with 50 votes. I mean, the best would be to terminate the filibuster, but for some reason, but you have the same basic people. But even Rand Paul is in favor of the Save America Act, if you can believe it. Think of it. Rand Paul is strongly in favor. He's fighting for it. So that's good news. But you would have Lisa Murkowski always against things like this. Nobody knows why. I think I know why. But you have Lisa Murkowski, you have Susan Collins, you have Tillis is against, and he's not in office because of me, so he holds me, because I wouldn't endorse him. I think you have Senator Cassidy against it too.
I think he supports it this time.
And I think you have Mitch McConnell against it too. Mitch McConnell, who's very disloyal to John Thune. John Thune was a very good person for him. I mean, he was a very loyal person, and Mitch McConnell's against him almost all the time because he's angry, I guess, probably at me.
Mr. President?
Yeah, please.
What about Democrats, Mr. President? Are there any you could think you could change their minds?
The Democrats should do it too. I mean, you'll probably get one Democrat who's, a common sense Democrat, who that is. And everybody should vote for this. This is the Save America Act. Voter ID with photo, ideally, but voter ID, proof of citizenship, and no mail-in ballots, which is, to my way of thinking, maybe the most important of all because it's so corrupt. But you have exceptions if you're away, exceptions for the military, they're deployed, exception, illness, disability, you have exceptions, strong exceptions. But the cheating on the ballots, the mail-in ballots, Jimmy Carter said it a long time ago. He said you can't have mail-in ballots. He headed up a committee with Scoop Jackson and others, all respected. And he actually, I think it was Jimmy Carter's finest moment, not doing president, but he headed up a committee and he said, he came out with a strong conclusion that if you do mail-in ballots, there's going to be cheating. France gave it up. We're the only country in the world that does this type of mail-in ballot. There's no other country in the world. You know why? They tried it and it was totally dishonest. And it's really dishonest. So we shouldn't do mail-in ballots. So it's not too much to ask for voter ID, proof of citizenship, and no mail-in ballots. And you have honest elections.
What are your plans for the housing bill, Mr. President?
I don't know. I think it's so unimportant by compared to the Save America Act. I think the Save America Act is exactly what it says. It's saving America from crooked elections. And the housing bill is a bill that can get approved. They worked on it long and hard. It's very bipartisan. That means the Democrats like it. I think it's maybe even it's probably maybe more that way they're getting things that I wouldn't necessarily agree to. Nobody knows more than housing in the history of the presidency. Nobody did well like me in housing. I made a lot of money. I made a lot of money with housing. But when I look at that bill, it's a bill. But when I look at the Save America Act, it's about saving America. And I'd like to have the Save America Act added on. That's probably not going to happen because we have 4 Republican senators, maybe 5, that just won't vote for it. It's crazy. Somebody like Lisa Murkowski from Alaska. Nobody's done more for Alaska than me. She's Trump deranged. What can I tell you? But those 4 or 5 people that I mentioned should vote. How do you vote against Save America? How do you vote against it? How do you vote against voter identification or proof of citizenship? The only people that would vote against that are people that are going to cheat in an election. The Democrats need it because their policy is so bad. They want open borders. They want high taxes. They want terrible medical, anything medical. I'm the one that did favored nations. I'm reducing drug prices by 200, 300, 400%. Nobody even talks about it. The news doesn't talk about it. The Democrats are opposed to it. If they get into office, they'll put it back. Your drug prices are going to go up by 200, 300, 400, 500%. You know that.
But will you sign that housing bill?
I have not. It hasn't been sent to me yet. It's coming, I understand. And then I'll make it. Here's what I would like to sign. Much more than a bill, that big deal. It's a yawn. Some people say it's wonderful. To me, compared to the Save America Act, just about everything is a big yawn.
And Mr. President, citizenship.
Birthright citizenship is next. What are your thoughts? Birthright citizenship. What are your thoughts? And will you accept it if it rules against you?
Well, I guess I have to accept it's the Supreme Court, so I'll accept. I think it's very bad for our nation. We're the only nation that does it. No other nation does that birthright citizenship. No, not even close. Some did it, they ended it. It's tremendously destructive. It's extremely costly. I don't know, it's up to them. But in terms of for the good of the country, it would be great if they didn't allow it. It would be great, but I can't tell you. The slaughter case was the big case today. That was really a big case because it gave strength to presidents and strength to the presidency. A very important case. It's been going on for almost 100 years. Think of that. And this was the ruling that really topped everything by a lot today. Yeah.
Mr. President, Zohran Mamdani said in an interview this week that he was open to being the poster child for socialist candidates. Are you worried about more socialist candidates across the
Well, I think it's a big threat to our nation, actually, because it's not socialism, it's really communism. They use the word social democrat because it sounds so nice, but it's really communism you're talking about. I think it's the biggest threat to our nation there is, maybe since our founding. That includes World War I, World War II, September 11th. It includes the Pearl Harbor attack. I think this is the biggest threat to our nation. People will smile when I say that, but the smart people are going to say, he's probably right. It's basically introducing communism into the United States of America. There's never been anything so dangerous. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you, guys. Thank you, guys.
All right, guys. So, we have more to watch, but I can't do it on YouTube because of they don't like watch parties. So I'll see you guys over on Rumble. Links in the description. We're doing an episode of Joshua. It's titled "The Intelligence Community is About to Append the CCP." Oh, that's exciting. That is exciting. We'll see you guys later. Goodbye, YouTube. Have a great day. See you tomorrow if you don't make it over.